everybody, it's Mordecai, and in today's video I wanted to talk about fillers. I've heard this term used quite a lot recently, especially with Steven Universe. Yes, it's ended, but it's still used when talking about the series as a whole. For anyone who's going back and rewatching the series, was a longtime viewer like myself, or happened to just come into the fandom after it ended, after Steven Universe Future. But for this specific video, I wanted to talk about fillers in regards to multi-chaptered, really anything, like multi-chaptered novels or novellas, smut. But of course, I'm going to tie this back to fanfiction, because that's my wheelhouse. And the only multi-chaptered fic I have really is You Look Like a Girl. There's another one that I'm working on. I'm still not giving up. I'm hoping I'm working on a new chapter soon. And let's see, Partners in Crime. That one didn't go too far. New Girl, I hate bringing it up, but it was also a multi-chaptered fic I worked on. Let's keep it there where it's supposed to be. I don't want to work on it. Anyway, besides the point. I wanted to talk about YLAG, which is my my acronym for You Look Like a Girl, or not acronym, my nickname, I guess. Because YLLAG is just a tongue twister, and You Look Like a Girl can be a mouthful. I know it can be. As I've said before, this the title was after a song by Boy in a Band, You Look Like a Girl. Anyway, filler. Because I have, I had two constant readers of every chapter, but one of them no longer talks to me for some reason. I don't know why. I've reached out to him multiple times through text and email, I think even Twitter DMs. It's just like he's dropped off the face of the earth, and I miss him. Anyway, the other longtime viewer, or longtime reader, when reading chapter 28 specifically, I remember this, she felt like it was a filler. And I kind of get that, in the sense that, like, not a lot was happening. In chapter 28, basically, it's after Joel confronted their parents, or essentially their mother, and they went to Jonas's parent, or mom, and spent the day there, and they're going out and, like, doing some wedding shopping. And, like, yeah, it seems like it's dull and stuff, and I can see why that would be a filler. But to me, I've just used them as transitional chapters. And what I mean by transitional chapters is, like, yeah, there's, like, more of, like, a subplot or a B-plot going on, but it still goes back to the story, like, the overarching plot, and we'll get back into, like, more, plot-centric chapters, such as, like, chapter 30, for example, where, is it chapter 30? Yeah, I made chapter 30 the breast augmentation chapter, because I was, getting confused with chapter 30 and 31, because 31 is in the perspective of Joel, while Daphne is going under surgery. So, yeah, that's my confusion there. But transitional chapters, I feel, in, like, my use of them, even though they're not as plot-centric, they still adhere to the plot. Like that chapter, for example. Of course, I haven't written the wedding chapter yet. Still not sure how to write that, because, like, I'm trying to keep it realistic and, like, with stuff going on, but I don't want to, like, make it COVID related and stuff. I don't know. But, yeah. Anyway, chapter 32 is not going to be the wedding. It's chapter 33 or 34. Anyway, but, they go back to the plots, because, like, or the overarching plot. Like, there are little Easter eggs, I guess you could call them, and, callbacks, basically, or Chekhov's drums, basically what those are, to more things that'll happen in the future, or that have already happened. Like, in chapter 10, Kevin was introduced. And he didn't seem like this big deal of a character. But then one of the people who used to read my fic, I don't know if he still does or not, wrote a fic for me, which is tagged with Yalag, called Seeing Double. And he was like, I need a name for a sleazy dude. Told him Kevin. So like I used Kevin in mine and then like tied it together by reintroducing him in chapter 13 through 15. And yeah, like that was, I guess, a bit filler, but it also tied into the story later on. So I say, filler, like loosely, because like, as I say, this is a transitional chapter, because like, not every chapter is going to be plot heavy and just like full of action, because you have to have periods of like resolution and tension, either or, and that can't always be under high stress or like high energy situations, like yeah. And then there's going to be a lull in not conversation and dialogue, but like a lull in action and plot. Because like, if I were to like just be like, oh, this is whole action stuff, like maybe some would be all for that. And, there'd be nothing left to read, and it probably have been done in like less than 30 some chapters. It's going on until like probably 45 or 50. Just because like these transitional chapters I am using not just to transition to bigger plot points, but to also character develop, which is very important. I hate using the word very. Anyway, but they're important and essential, character development, because you get to see the characters not just in their interactions with, the people like Daphne, Joel, and Jonas, for example. Like, coming up, there is going to be a chapter with Joel exploring a different relationship because they're polyamorous, and that'll be separate from whatever Daphne and Jonas end up doing during that. And there will also be a chapter dedicated to the Siren Boys and their family. Oh, well, I mean, yeah, they're a family. It's two Siren Boys. Whoops. But yeah, that's further on down the line. After the second honeymoon chapter, which I don't know when that's happening, probably 35. Well, of course it's gonna be after the wedding chapter, but yeah. Like there's a reason for the quote unquote filler for the transitions. It moves the plot along, I feel still. Like it gets the job done. Yeah, like there are some instances of what is going on, like why is this important, I guess. And like I've had trouble writing those instances of like there's not a lot going on here, what's going to drive this forward, and it can be a drag to write. I'm not going to like sit here and say that every little bit of writing that I've done for Yalag so far and onward has been like easy or I don't want to say not exciting, because I love working on Yalag, of course. I've had multiple videos on this fic. I said chapter, but on this fic as a whole, I still do, and it just fills my every waking moment. But like every work, it takes a lot of effort and energy and time, and it can get exhausting sometimes and frustrating. And while I don't suffer from writer's block as much as I used to, I still do. And, it's a challenge for me to get over. And Yalag has just persevered as much as I have. And yeah, sure, there's going to be like, as we were talking about earlier, like low points in the story where not much seems to be going on, but, will appear to the story later. It's all gonna come together to make a beautiful story, beautiful series. It has so far, and it continues to do so. So, in my opinion, saying the word filler is lazy, because people have gone so into depth on working on this piece of work, and for it to be called like, a substitute for something else, is just unappreciative of what they did. I mentioned Steven Universe earlier, and like there are definitely episodes that are not plot centric and could seen as like being worthy of being skipped over. There are a few that I don't like because of this. One of the most controversial, I guess, as with the term filler, was Rocknaldo. I'm not gonna get too heavy into the plot, but like the crystal gems and humans don't like work together very often, and like they're aware of each other, and like they're like, okay, you live and you do your thing, and it focuses around Steven and interacting with both gems and humans because he's a hybrid of a gem and a human. And that episode, Rocknaldo is seen as I guess lore baiting, or not lore baiting, character baiting, maybe, I don't know, but like we expected a new gem, Bloodstone, but Rocknaldo took that on as his gem Sona, and a lot of the fans were misled. And I definitely remember feeling like angry, or at least frustrated, because like I thought we were gonna get a new character, more gem lore and stuff, but that was not the case. But at the same time, like, you have to have those transitional moments in order to get to more plot-centric episodes, serials, chapters, because, like, there has to be a build-up, there has to be tension, rising action, and after the conflict, falling action. You know, you've taken a basic, like, comp class, you've heard of those terms, so I'm not really going to spend time on like talking about those, but yeah, the lulls and like the calm before the storm moments, the rising and falling actions, like those are needed in writing, like in most stories that we're familiar with. That's like the formula. So in a nutshell, fillers, quote unquote, because I don't like the word, as I just said, are needed. They're necessary. So, yeah, at least take the effort to, like, think to yourself, why is this chapter or episode, have you, a filler? What's coming up? Get yourself excited for that. And, you know, just wait for those, I guess, penultimate episodes or serials or whatever. But yeah, hype up, like get hyped, get excited. And yeah, sometimes you can get like overwhelmed with like, oh, I got my hopes up. But I can guarantee you that, like, you know, artists want you to get hyped over their stuff. I want you to get hyped over You Look Like a Girl, because that is my, I don't even know what to call it. I had this conversation with myself last night. I was like, it's more than my passion project. It's just, it's something else. And I hype it up, and I want other people to hype it up. The people who do read it have hyped it up, and still continue to hype it up. I'm so fucking glad for that. Of course, I couldn't get through this video without cussing. But yeah, it's amazing. And I don't want that to lessen because, oh, there's these, like, chapters that feel like they're filling a gap. Because, yes, they are filling a gap. At the same time, they are continuing the story. Whether, like, it's, like, explicit or subtle. Like, there's a reason for them. So, yeah. I just wanted to get that off my chest. And I will see you in the next video.